At 86 years old, I find myself reflecting on a life long lived, full of moments both bright and dim, and on the people who have traveled this road with me. It is natural as the years grow heavier to think about companionship, about who stood beside me when the noise of the world faded and only the quiet truth of existence remained. The answer is simple yet profound. Only a handful of people stayed with me in the end, and those few were not always the ones I expected. This is a story not just about me, but about a truth every one of us will face if we live long enough. It is about the people who really matter when the dust settles. In youth, it is easy to think that many will be by your side forever. Friends, acquaintances, colleagues, family, they all seem plentiful and constant. But life has a way of showing us that depth matters more than breadth. Over the decades, the crowd thins. This is a natural process, one supported by the research of sociologists and psychologists alike. Studies show that social circles tend to shrink with age. A study published in the journal Psychology and Aging found that as people move into their 70s and beyond, their social networks decrease significantly, often narrowing to just a few close relationships. This is not a sign of loneliness or failure, but of wisdom. We learn to invest our time and energy in those who truly nourish our spirit. Looking back, I realized the people who stayed were those who did not demand much, who simply offered presence. Presence is the greatest gift one can give, especially in the later chapters of life. The ability to sit quietly with another person, to listen without judgment, to share a smile or a touch without expectation, this is what binds us. These are the companions who stayed not because they were obligated, but because they understood the sacredness of time. The world often teaches us to value achievements, possessions, and fame. But in the end, it is human connection that gives meaning to our days. The people who remained were not just family members. In fact, sometimes family can be complicated. I have seen, as many have, that blood relation does not guarantee closeness or care. Research from the Journal of Marriage and Family confirms that the quality of family relationships varies widely, and elder adults often report more satisfaction from friendships than from family ties in late life. The people who stayed were friends, neighbors, caregivers, and a few relatives who chose kindness over duty. They understood that aging is not just about physical decline, but about holding on to dignity, respect, and love. One of the most important companions I found was empathy. Empathy is the quiet force that holds us up when strength wanes. Those who stayed could feel my pain without needing to fix it. They allowed me to be vulnerable without embarrassment. According to studies published by the American Psychological Association, empathy plays a crucial role in the mental and emotional well-being of older adults. It reduces feelings of isolation, depression, and anxiety, which are all common struggles as we age. The people who showed empathy were those who stayed because they connected with me on a human level, beyond roles or expectations. I remember nights when the darkness was more than just absence of light. They were heavy with memories, regrets, and fears. It was during those times that the presence of these few individuals shone the brightest. They did not run away from my sorrow. They sat beside me. Their presence reminded me that even when life feels like it is slipping through our fingers, we are not truly alone. This feeling is echoed by a study from the gerontologist, which highlights how emotional support in late life improves not only mood, but physical health as well. Older adults with strong social ties have lower blood pressure, reduced risk of cardiovascular disease, and even live longer. These people also embrace my imperfections, my mistakes, and my stubbornness. At this age, we all carry scars from battles fought. Some won, some lost. Those who remained did not demand perfection. They accepted me as I was, recognizing that no one is without fault. This acceptance fosters a sense of peace. The science behind acceptance and forgiveness, especially in elder years, shows it correlates with lower levels of stress and a more positive outlook on life. The Journal of Aging Studies has shown that acceptance of oneself and others leads to better emotional resilience. Moreover, those who stayed were consistent. Consistency is undervalued in a world obsessed with novelty. But for someone in their 80s, knowing that a friend will call, visit, or simply sit with you on a regular schedule is a lifeline. It creates trust, a foundation for lasting connection. The International Journal of Aging and Human Development published research indicating that consistent social interactions improve cognitive function in older adults. When you know someone is reliably there, your mind stays sharper, your heart feels steadier, and your spirit remains lighter. I also learned that humor was a vital glue in these relationships. We laughed at absurdities and old stories. Humor brought relief and connection. It reminded me that even in the twilight years, life holds moments of joy. Laughter is a potent medicine. Medical research, including a study from the Mayo Clinic, has shown that laughter reduces stress hormones, boosts immune function, and improves pain tolerance. Those who stayed made me laugh when tears threatened to overwhelm, and for that, I will be forever grateful. Another group of those who stayed were caregivers. These remarkable individuals often go unseen and underappreciated, but their role is monumental. They provided not just physical care, but emotional support, companionship, and respect. Caregiving is demanding, yet these people showed up day after day with patience and kindness. Studies from the National Institute on Aging emphasize that elder care provided with empathy and respect improves outcomes not just for the elderly, but also for caregivers themselves. The mutual respect formed a bond that transcended mere responsibility. The loneliness that often haunts old age was held at bay by these few souls. Loneliness is a serious health risk. According to research by the University of California, loneliness increases the risk of premature death by nearly 40%. The people who stayed recognized this and made it their mission to keep me connected to life. Even simple acts like a phone call, a touch on the hand, or sharing a meal had enormous meaning. They were lifelines woven through the fabric of my days. Importantly, the people who remained saw me as a whole person, not just a patient or an old man. In medical settings, it is easy to be reduced to a list of symptoms or conditions. But these companions saw beyond that. They acknowledged my history, my dreams, my fears, and my worth. This holistic respect is supported by the World Health Organization's guidelines on aging, which emphasize person-centered care as essential for the well-being of older adults. It restores dignity and fosters a sense of belonging. As I reflect, I realize that these relationships were reciprocal. I did not only receive, I gave back in whatever way I could. Even in the limitations of age, there are ways to contribute through stories, wisdom, kindness, or simply presence. Studies on intergenerational relationships reveal that when older adults engage in giving support to others, their own health and happiness improve. It creates a circle of care that benefits everyone involved. Technology has also played a role in keeping me connected with some of these people, especially family members who live far away. Video calls, messages, and social media have bridged distances. Research from the Journal of Gerontology has found that older adults who use technology to maintain social ties report lower levels of depression and higher satisfaction with life. Yet technology cannot replace the warmth of physical presence, which remains irreplaceable. It is worth noting that some who were once close drifted away, not always by choice but by circumstances. Life pulls people in different directions, and sometimes the distance grows too large. This is a natural part of life's rhythm. While loss can be painful, it teaches us to appreciate the moments we have with those who remain. This acceptance is echoed in psychological theories of aging, which highlight the importance of emotional regulation and acceptance for mental health in late life. My journey has taught me that quality matters far more than quantity in relationships. This truth has been supported by decades of research in social psychology. The strength and depth of a few meaningful connections are far more protective and nourishing than many superficial ones. As our capacity for social interaction changes with age, we prioritize those bonds that feel genuine and supportive. Ultimately, the people who stayed are those who love without conditions. They love not because it is convenient or beneficial, but because they see the human spirit that persists even when the body weakens. This kind of love is rare and precious. It is the love that carries us through the inevitable challenges of aging and reminds us that we are still valuable, still seen, still worthy of care. So, if I could share one piece of wisdom from my 86 years, it would be this. Cherish those few who stand by you in the end. Invest in relationships that honor who you are and offer mutual respect and empathy. Do not fear the narrowing of your social circle. It is a natural and healthy part of life's final chapters. Instead, focus on the warmth of a hand held, the comfort of a voice that listens, and the simple joy of shared presence. In the end, when all is stripped away, the wealth, the accomplishments, the fleeting pleasures, what remains are those few souls who walk the last miles with you. They are your true legacy. And if you nurture those connections, you will never truly be alone, no matter how many years you have lived. The science and experience align. A meaningful life is a connected life. And at 86, I can say with confidence that these few who stayed with me are the greatest treasure I have ever known. They are the reason I greet each day with gratitude and peace. Because in the vast story of life, it is these small circles of love that give us the strength to keep moving forward, even when the path grows steep and shadows fall long. So to all who listen and live long enough to see the end of many roads, remember this: cultivate kindness, seek empathy, hold on to humor, and above all, value those who choose to stay, because they are the ones who remind us what it means to be truly alive. Are you investing your time in the right people? Are you investing your time in the right people? This is a question that can shape the final chapters of your life more deeply than you might imagine. As a doctor who has walked alongside countless seniors, I have seen that the relationships we choose to nurture can either lift us up or quietly drain us. We spend so much of our lives worrying about money, property, and reputation, but very few of us pause to ask if we are spending our most precious resource, our time, with the people who truly deserve it. At the heart of this question lies a simple truth: our time is finite. As we grow older, the days might feel longer, but the years move faster. Each moment becomes more valuable. Who receives these moments? Research supports this deeply human need for meaningful connection. Studies published in the journal Psychological Science show that quality of social relationships has a direct impact on both mental and physical health. Older adults with strong, positive social ties live longer, experience fewer chronic illnesses, and report higher levels of satisfaction. The danger is that many of us, even in later life, hold on to relationships out of habit, guilt, or fear. We continue to give our time to people who drain our energy, criticize our choices, or make us feel small. We think we owe them something simply because they have been around for a long time. But there is no rule that says we must spend our precious years with those who make our hearts heavy. I have sat beside patients in their final days. I have held hands with men and women who had achieved great professional success, but wept because they realized they had invested their days in people who did not truly love or respect them. The regret that fills their eyes is a powerful lesson. When everything else falls away, what matters most is not how many people surrounded you, but who was there to hold you with kindness and care. In a study conducted by Harvard University, known as the Harvard Study of Adult Development, researchers followed people for more than 75 years. The conclusion was simple and clear: good relationships keep us healthier and happier. It is not wealth or fame that predicts who will thrive in their 80s and 90s, but the warmth and depth of their connections. Those who invested in warm, close relationships had sharper minds, stronger bodies, and a deeper sense of peace. So I ask you, when you think about your circle, do you feel warmth or weight? Do the people in your life encourage you to be your true self? Do they listen without rushing to judge? Do they make you laugh and bring comfort during difficult times? If the answer is no, it is time to think about change. This is not an easy task. It takes courage to step back and evaluate who deserves to walk beside you as you age. But this courage is the foundation of a peaceful and meaningful old age. The power of investing in the right people also has direct effects on our physical health. Research from the University of California shows that seniors with supportive friendships have lower levels of inflammation and better immune function. Another study from the National Institute on Aging found that positive social connections help reduce the risk of heart disease and stroke. Our bodies respond to love and connection like a plant responds to sunlight and water. When we are surrounded by those who care for us, our cells, our hearts, and our minds all become stronger. I have seen seniors blossom when they finally decide to distance themselves from toxic relationships. They begin to smile more often. They sleep better. Their appetite improves. Their energy returns. The weight that had been sitting on their chest for years starts to lift. This is not magic, it is biology. The body and mind are deeply connected, and every thought and emotion has a ripple effect throughout our system. We often underestimate the small daily exchanges. A gentle word, a shared meal, a patient ear. These are the real treasures of life. When we choose to spend time with people who offer these small gifts, we nourish our spirit. And when we give them in return, we create bonds that feel like a safe harbor in a storm. As a doctor, I have always believed in preventive care. We take vaccines to protect our bodies, but we must also build strong emotional defenses. One of the best ways to do this is to choose the right people. If someone constantly criticizes you or makes you feel unloved, it is like taking a small dose of poison every day. Over time, it damages not just your happiness, but your overall health. Choosing the right people is an act of self-care as important as taking your medicine or eating healthy food. I also want to remind you that it is never too late. Whether you are 60 or 90, you can decide today to spend your remaining days with people who see your worth. People who celebrate your stories, who hold your hand when you are afraid, who make you feel that your life still matters. Life is unpredictable and time is fragile. Every morning is a new chance to choose love over obligation, warmth over duty, joy over mere survival. We often hear that old age is a time of loss, but it can also be a time of great clarity, a time to finally see what truly matters, to let go of relationships that have been heavy, and to invite more kindness and peace into your life. It is not selfish to protect your time, it is wise. You have spent decades building, caring, giving. Now is the time to choose wisely where you place your precious remaining moments. So I invite you to pause today. Look at the faces around you. Listen to the voices you hear most often. Do they lift your spirit or drain it? Do they inspire hope or cultivate fear? Do they make you feel safe or small? Your answers will guide you toward the right people. The research, the stories, and my years of experience all point to the same truth. The quality of your relationships will shape the quality of your final years. Choose the people who truly see you, who truly love you. Because in the end, it is not the number of birthdays you celebrate or the size of your house that will matter. It is the love you shared, the laughter you created, and the comfort you found in each other's presence. You still have the power to shape this story. You still have time to invest in the right people. And when you do, you will find that every day feels a little brighter, a little lighter, and a lot more meaningful.